Good evening, everybody. It looks like I am live this Tuesday night. It is February 28th, and it is Tuesday night raw Q&A with me, Dr. Andi. So welcome. Let's see. I know I got a little shadows because of the hat today. Let's see, light. First order of business. If someone could let me know you can hear me and see me, that would be awesome. And we'll get rolling. Okay, gotta change the chat. There we go. Okay, loud and clear. Okay, so I have no microphone plugged in. Not gonna touch anything. Scout's honor. Oh, thank you. My cute hat. So welcome and hello to Kyle and Jessica and Ashley, our usual crew. For those of you catching me for the first time or on a rerun, right? We don't use that term anymore, right? We used to live for reruns in the summer, right? Ruby is not in the room. I actually don't know where Ruby is. And yeah, no cats this week. Actually, I have no idea what they're up to. Although she got her tail in something white yesterday. I have no idea what it was. Didn't even smell like anything. It was the strangest thing. I don't know. Cats, what are you going to do? Okay, I got my phone off. Shut that down over there. Okay. Welcome Tuesday night raw Q&A. So anything raw food for your dogs, which is a species appropriate diet, going back to basics with some home remedies, home care. A lot of these I've learned from my clients over the years. A lot of them I've done with my animals. Most everything I talk about, I have at least tried it. My poor crew is like, oh my God, something else, mother. Yes, and I am a doctor of chiropractic. I'm a certified animal chiropractor in the state of Colorado. I am not a veterinarian, and none of this is veterinary advice, healthcare, taken as gospel. What this is a conversation with community on other things that might be possible for you and your animals. And this may be your starting point to head off, educate yourself, learn some more things, decide what is going to work best for you and your crew. Okay, phew, I think I have all the disclaimers. My homework, well, at least the homework I gave myself, I have my little paper because I'm sure Kyle will ask me something and I'll have homework for next Tuesday because he's good like that. He asked, so on the Raw Dog Food Truth podcast with Dee Mercer Moffat, owner and CEO of Raw Dog Food and Company, we were talking about chiropractic, of course, and I'm sure I said somewhere in the show about supporting the immune system, and Kyle asked about a little bit more information on that, and I'm like, well, you know what? I don't have the studies memorized, and I don't know exactly how a spinal manipulation is going to increase your B cells, and I did do a little bit of looking into it, and I did find kind of I found a couple different articles about spinal manipulation, chiropractic adjustment, subluxation in relevance to is it going to help your immune system purposely with the COVID-19 virus. And there was no information directly talking about that. But let's see, what year was this? Let me double. So 2020, the International Chiropractors Association, the ICA, on March 28th released the report, Immune Function and Chiropractic, What Does the Evidence Provide? And detailing the study-based and anecdotal evidence for improving a weak immune system via chiropractic care. And what they determined is there's a call for increased clinical trials and research studies by the ICA-affiliated chiropractic college and universities. That's where most of the studies go on. Although there are no clinical trials to substantiate a direct causal relationship between chiropractic adjustment and increased protection from viruses. There's a growing body of evidence that there is a relationship between the nervous system and the immune system, which is what I mentioned. So a lot of what, us chiropractors talk about, or what was insinuated in school, or in intuition or intuited by myself, is if the nervous system runs everything, and that nervous system is in top shape, performance, top performance, it's going to support the immune system and what it needs to do, right? The nervous system's in charge. And the chiropractic community, most of whom are small business owners like myself, dispersed in large cities and small towns around the US and the world, they're talking about 2020 here. That's not really what I wanted to talk about. Where did they say this? So basically, if I can find it again, they did there was a 2005 science review of chiropractic. Basic science research related to chiropractic spinal adjusting, the state of the art, and recommendations revisited. They summarized the state of the science in several areas, including the nervous system response to spinal manipulation. They concluded basic science studies support chiropractic theory. We function off a theory, chiropractic theory, that spinal subluxation and spinal manipulation impact neurological function. I talk about that all the time. When we put a force into the body, we stimulate neurological function, and the body knows what to do with that. In addition, the interdependence of nervous, endocrine, and immune system has been discussed here. These studies suggest mechanisms by which spinal influences may mediate a clinically significant impact on immune function. So a lot of correlation, not necessarily causation, like I was talking about, like that I didn't have the information, like an adjustment's going to cause a raise in B cells or T cells or this immune function, right? And it goes on, anecdotal evidence is still evidence. And they end the article talking about the observation that those of us who use chiropractic regularly, and chiropractic patients and chiropractors that do not become ill with colds, flu, and other community shared illnesses, is frequent within the profession, right? I mentioned that, like, we talk about it, and it looks like we don't have any like pinnacle studies as of yet. I don't even know how they would design that study anyway, although definitely not my specialty in studies. So I don't know if that's helpful. It really wasn't anything earth-shattering from what I talked about last week and what I knew about it. But if your nervous system is rocking and rolling and working at its top performance, all the other systems will, right? Like they talked about the endocrine, the immune system, musculoskeletal system, like all of these systems make up the whole. And the spinal manipulation, chiropractic adjustment, impulse in the nervous system, whatever you want to call it, stimulates that nervous system, which then stimulates everything else. So there you go. That's it. Nothing new. I was hoping to find something a little more fascinating than that, but no go. Okay. Pack updates. Anybody got a pack update? Anybody has a new addition to a pack? What are our pack members up to this week? I'm still struggling with Crosby's sciatica. He's still carrying around his chicken leg. That's what I call it, his chicken wing. And he had a massage and adjustment last Wednesday. I'm going to get him adjusted again tomorrow. I was hoping to get it done sooner, but cobbler's children. And so for those of you who don't know his history, he has no femoral head on the right hip. It didn't form. It was an injury when he was a puppy. It was genetic. We don't know, but he has no femoral head. And so the left leg, this is the second time he's done this. He'll carry super, super high and not use it very well. and he has some sciatica going down that leg that we're working on. He uses it. His mother, his horrible chiropractor mother, last Wednesday, before he got his massage, he went and played Fit Pause with Aunt Shauna. I'm like, his leg's bothering him, but he can go do that. Because if I didn't do that with him, he's already kind of batshit crazy because our weather has been so bad and he has not gotten out. Like, he's my kid that needs to go for rides. He needs to go for walks. He needs to go for another walk. He needs to play. He needs to chew on something. Like, he's my busy kiddo. And so I'm like, he's got to go play, even if that leg's bugging him. But I also know there's pain going down the leg, but we're working on it. So there's a little pack update. I don't know if I mentioned, I didn't know because that was Wednesday. So he started carrying around his chicken wing after we talked last week. And I say it because he carries it really, really high. It's really interesting how high he carries that leg. And that's not common for other like knee injuries and hip injuries. They tend not to do that. So it's very interesting how he chooses to do that. Okay, Emma's education, also known as Ashley, has a cat update. She trims Scout's toe hair. So how'd that go? And have you noticed her? I don't know. You could have done this an hour ago, right? Who knows? Noticed that she's had any better grippage getting around the house. I don't know how else to put that. I don't know how much you would notice right away either. So, and if anybody is new tonight, we would love to hear from you. If you're brave enough, give us a shout out. We are a community. Everybody kind of helps in the chat with different kinds of questions. And if you would love to say hi, I think you can even do that on the replay. So say hi, say where you're from, and be brave. Anybody got any questions? Let's see, what else I got? Did my homework, did my pack update. All right, folks. I have a flight out tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Those always sound better in theory, right? So I'm going to have to leave around 5. I'm glad I think the snow's not coming until Thursday morning, Wednesday night. So I'm like, score on that. But I got packing to do. I'm not done packing. She did it. Okay, so Ashley said she trimmed Scout's toe hairs on Sunday. Haven't noticed its effects. Okay, so she is struggling to jump up on the coffee table and she is favoring her right hind. Okay. Well, good. I know, you're like, why would that be good? Ashley says she hadn't been able to pin down where she is sore before. So the right hind is a move in the right direction. Some kiddos that it really is a move in the right direction. Like, what limb is bothering you? What section of the spine is bothering you? What vertebral joint is bothering you? And there are times when dogs come in and I don't know. Everything's sore, or they're so guarded. Their body's not even willing to really talk to me, even with the muscle testing that I do. And personality, we got to factor in personality. We always have to factor in personality. And so it takes me a couple visits and it takes them a couple visits for us to like start connecting and working that way. But sometimes we don't know. And so it is in the move in the right direction to, that leg seems to be hurting her the most today. Okay, cool. Is that always the case? Is that and Ashley may not know this, is that the compensatory leg, or is that what I call the problematic leg? Meaning the actual maybe structural issue or the actual injured limb. We're just going to go with limbs. I mean, they can injure their backs and all that, obviously. And then there's a compensatory leg, which most times ends up becoming as painful, if not more painful. And then you get the switching back and forth. And by the time they come in for an appointment with me, if they're switching back and forth in the rear, I know it's been going on a long time. Like they have not told their parents, or they have been treating it very conventionally for a long time, and they just now found their way into my office. Now the front end is difficult. I don't always know which limb they're limping on. And I don't know if I've talked about this before or much. Um, the front end, because it carries more weight than the rear, is much more difficult to which leg are they actually limping on. Is it the one they're trying to get off of very quickly? And which one, it really kind of depends. Generally, that will come down to them when they're standing still, and the one foot that is flattened more than the other, that's going to tell me which one has all the weight. So the one that's not flattened down in the toes is the one that they are favoring. And then from there, which is causing more problem in general? Is it the compensatory leg or I call it the problematic leg. It's just my term for it, because either that's where the injury or the structural issue or the ligament strain or the tendon strain is. So I have the compensatory leg and the problematic leg. It's just the categories the terms I put to them. Pack update from New Jersey. They were meeting with a potential rescue beagle this weekend. Our girl beagle, but the new beagle upon introduction, and that put the kaput to that. Oh, she's a spicy one, isn't she? Calming code to help with our situation. We're now trying doggy dance. I don't know what doggy dance is, but I'm going to give you a little insight on our podcast. They're not, if you couldn't tell, they're not scripted. Occasionally, we'll send a text to each other. Hey, I had this happen this week, or how about this little topic for this? Like, that's it. Like, they're not scripted, as you could probably tell. Like, it's not really a shocker. I'm not giving that away. But because of my upcoming trip, we did the last podcast and the upcoming podcast back to back. It really should be one, because we kind of went back and forth in conversations. I tried not to, but when she was talking about being insensitive, I was actually trying to remind her, like, we've been doing this for so long. We do tend to forget, like, it's easy, just do this. Like, what the hell? And you new to raw, and they're like, what knife do I open this chub with? Right? How do I keep the chub from spurting across the room? Like, what containers do I use? Like, how do I defrost this? Do I need to keep it in the fridge for a week before the log defrosts? I mean, like, all of these little things that we do second nature. So, it's not that Dee Dee's insensitive. It's just a matter of, we're just so used to it that we forget that there's a lot of nuance and a lot of new for people. So I will try and be there for our new raw feeders, because I'm so proud of y'all that take the leap. It's a commitment. It's dedication to your animals and to your belief systems and where you want your money to go and how healthy you want you and your animals to be. So I will be out there. I will try to keep the insensitive Dee Dee at bay on that. She's not insensitive. No, she's spicy. Yes. Any advice? Yeah, I like that, Ashley. It's nice at Girl Beagle to be so direct with their opinions. I mean, there was no gray area there. Honestly, you could thank her for that. She might have known things that you didn't know. Spicy. Yeah, spicy isn't bad. Spicy, no. And probably the easiest, I don't know if easiest is the best word, is to support her spiciness instead of trying to crush it, contain it, and limit it. So in the future, this is how I would do it with my animals is, okay, we're going to go meet this dog. Maybe, if it's cool, we're thinking about having this dog come live with us, be in our pack. We're going to take care of it. If that's not going to work for you, ask her to be clear, concise, and quick. And it doesn't have to be over the top that you're listening to her, right? It can be simply, instead of trying to bite the other dog, how about you just sit and bare your teeth? Like, I'll get that from you. That's very clear to me. I can go with that. And just start and support her in her spiciness instead of trying to change it. Hold her back, correct her, contain it. She's spicy. Now, I don't know what this new dog would have been, but the likelihood of her letting another girl dog in the pack ain't gonna happen. I mean, the likelihood is it's gonna have to be a very calm, docile boy. That's like, all right, bitch, do your thing. I'm gonna go over here. No big deal. And if and when you find that dog that she approves of, it'll probably be easy peasy. And the fact that you are listening to her and valuing her opinions and thoughts and actions on it is huge. That gives her confidence in you and your relationship, and that she can say stuff like that. And you'll be like, all right, we're not doing this. You know how many people like, oh, but I really like this dog, or, oh, I really, whatever the situation is, I don't know. So we're going to try it anyway. Really? Do you think that's really a good idea? How do you think that's going to turn out? Hello, Ms. Clark. Welcome. Yeah. So I had to promise to listen to the softer version. Yeah. Beautifully said. Thank you, Ashley. I have this one great story. I have no idea how this turned out at all, but this woman got a bulldog, female alpha bitch bulldog. She shipped it in from some other country. She spent thousands of dollars on this dog. It was a beautiful bulldog. It was fine. And then mom decided she needed a dog. The dog needed a dog. Okay. So she found another bulldog, a male bulldog. She did get a male. Okay. From another country, shipped it in, spent thousands of dollars. I don't understand that part. Everybody has their own journey. And they fight constantly. And I was called in. I don't even know why I was called. I think the female hurt her back. I don't even know. I don't think it was even related. And she's like, what do I do about this? And I'm like, well, she's pissed. She didn't want a dog. You didn't ask her. She had no say in it. None whatsoever. And obviously, if you're shipping in a puppy from another country, there's no meet and greet. There's no, hey, do you like this dog? Like, none of that. There was no discussion with the dog. There really isn't. I mean, I'm having a weird conversation with you right now. Like, I sit down and have these conversations with my animals. The vast majority of people do not, right? They don't. She didn't ask. I go, well, she's like, well, this has got to stop. I got her this dog. I'm like, she didn't want that dog. But I got her this dog. She didn't want this dog. Like, she was not hearing me. Like, she went through all this trouble, all this expense to get this dog a dog. And this dog doesn't like the dog. So she's offended. I go, well, if you want this to change, you literally, out of your mouth every single day, need to apologize to her for getting her this dog. So I wasn't saying, oh, you have to rehome the male bulldog, or you have to do this, or but you have to apologize every single day for getting her this dog. She's not happy. The woman just looked at me like I was crazy. I was not invited back for another visit. I have no idea what happened. But time and time again over the last 20 years, when people go out and get the other dog a dog, it goes so poorly. It just does. And when the pack or the other dog is involved in, and your motivations, your reasons for getting another dog is inclusive of everybody, right? And you're not just getting the dog so that other dog has a dog to play with. Right now, if that doesn't say that that's not what happens, like there's a lot of times there's like the 12-year-old dog and the 6-year-old dog, and that 6-year-old dog is bothering the 12-year-old dog. And so they go out and they get a puppy or a 1-year-old dog to play with the 6-year-old dog. But like Kyle and Jessica are doing, there, you meet the puppy. There's conversations around all of this. Is this going to work for everybody? And then sometimes there's the 15-year-old dog and the 8-year-old dog, but a puppy right now is not a good idea. But when people go out with the sole purpose of getting a dog, their own dog, it never goes well. I don't know why that energy doesn't go well, but it really doesn't. So, like we said, just we'll listen to you. Your opinion matters here. And, the other weird tool, energetic tool, here you go, Kyle, all my energy today, is ask, what's your beagle's name, guys? You can ask her just energetically. You don't do anything. You don't drive her around or anything. Ask her to bring the dog to you that she would like to live with. June and Jax, okay. Ask June. Put her in charge. It'd be the weirdest thing you ever do. Put her in charge. All right, June, you're in charge of this task. You can get some input from Jax if you want. Jax can try, but you're in charge of bringing the dog that you would like to live with to either me or Jessica or us or whatever, and see what shows up. Yeah, I know he didn't care. I was just trying to include him. You can kind of try and include him. But yeah, the boys generally don't care. They just don't. That's why I like the boys. That's why I only have one girl. Just my thing. And because that's my point of view, that's what I stick with. Because my point of view, my energy is really one girl is plenty. And I know people, I had a friend who had 5 female Rottweilers and they all got along just fine. I don't know how the hell she pulled that off, but her point of view is I like girl dogs and this is fine. And so the girl dogs are all like, this is fine. So again, back to, the energy of it. This is the story that's popping, but I've given that tool to many people that could at least hear me, like didn't necessarily think I was the wackiest woman on the planet. She fostered for, I think, the Spaniel rescue or a Pointer rescue. I don't know. So those kind of breeds, hunting breeds. And she had this boy dog that she really liked. He was a nice boy. And she actually got him adjusted a couple times. I met him. It was very sweet of her. And she's like, he can stay, but I really think I'd like him to move along. And I think he may have had a couple people look at him and kind of fall through and no big deal. And I'm like, all right, because she wasn't like, oh, I've got to get him out. And yeah, he can kind of stay, but I kind of, she did enough of this that she's like, I think he'd have a nicer time somewhere else or whatever. So, pretty aware person. And I go, okay. And he was in for a visit on, I don't remember his name. We'll call him Bud. I'm like, all right, Bud, you are now in charge of bringing the people that you want to live with. Bring them to, I don't remember the woman's name, Mary. Just have them get in touch with her, however and whoever you want to live with. She came in. I don't know if it was weeks or months later with a different dog, one of her personal dogs. And I'm like, well, so what happened with Bud? She's like, oh, yeah, we had that conversation. I think it was next week. This family showed up and he's just doing beautifully. And he went with them. And she had been working on this for months. Boom, he did it. He brought him to her. So, and there's many other stories. They're not coming to me at the moment, but it works. It really works. And it kind of goes back to when I talk about taking care of our animals, we think we need to do 110% of the work. Like we are wholly responsible for all their care all the time. And that's BS. They also need to be involved in their care, in their healing, in if they want to this body to work, or if they want to continue staying here with us, depending on their age or where they are with their illness or whatever. We can't do it all. And you need to ask them, all right, you want to stick around here? You want to do some more stuff with us? Then you need to get involved here and start healing yourself. Is literally is the conversation I have with those owners that can hear me about animals and about maybe who's failing in front of me. I currently have a little white dog client. Oh my God, she's big. She's so little. Her name is Tink. And I will mess up the history, but simply put, because we're 4 pounds, we got caught up in a blanket and fell off the couch, and we hurt our back end, and the front end wasn't doing great. Simplified version. And so she would always feel better after chiropractic adjustment a little bit. She didn't really want to walk. She was just kind of laying around. About the 4th every 2-week visit, she was better, but we had to have a hard conversation with Tink. Mom's like, if she doesn't get involved here, like she just seems so blah about everything, that I think it's time that I put her down. Like, what are we going to do here? And so we had a conversation about, all right, Tink, if you want to stay here and you want to re-engage, you're going to have to get involved in your healing. You're going to have to do some stuff here. Mom's driving you to your appointments. Mom's getting you the food you want. Mom's carrying you out to go potty. Like, now it's your turn to put in your effort. And Mom and I kind of have a conversation, and the dog is there listening, picking up on the energy in my head, getting, the whole thing, however you want to do the animal communication part of that, whatever words you want to use. The next visit 2 weeks later, I checked on her halfway between, and it was Dad that had this great idea for this little harness thing to help her walk. And she came in half walking on her own. I think she would have walked in on the harness all the way, but it was a muddy mess. It's been mud season and snow season, and it was a mess. So Mom carried her in a little bit, but this dog was back. She was like, hey, I now have this harness thing that gets me around. I'm out walking, I'm out sniffing, I'm out engaging. Now, I didn't think about that. Mom didn't. Dad got this idea. So did Dad have that idea, or did she put it in Dad's head? But she was back. She's like, oh yeah, I'm going to stick around now. But we had to ask her to get her ass in gear. Like, come on, we can't do everything for you. And so as much as we want to do, we think we have to. We think that's when we get in trouble. We think we have to do 110% of our care to our animals, manage every minuscule part of it. No, they need to get involved in their healing, in their life, in what they require. And she could have taken that information and gotten worse. And we discussed Mom was going to listen to that too and help her along if that's what she chose. So give the animals choice too. And that's what you're doing with June when you go and meet other dogs. We get much more invested faster, right? Like, oh, we're gonna go, we're gonna go see this dog, and we have all the stories, and we're gonna integrate, and it's gonna be awesome. And June's like, no, And then you're like, oh, okay. So I get it. I get it. All right. I've been rambling a lot tonight. um, um, any other pack updates? Any other questions? I don't know. All right. I have a question for you guys then. Get over it. That's dog language. The girl as in the girl dog. Or the girl that wanted to get rid of the dog. I don't know, but that's just dog language. We always feel bad. And as soon as we get involved, that's when we mess it all up. Guaranteed. I try not to. I try like the glass containers that I used all the meat out of for breakfast. I put them down on the floor for the littles to lick out. And sometimes they share it nicely. Sometimes Molly Brown takes all of it. Sometimes Torch takes all of it. And sometimes there's growling and squabbling. And I do try my best not to say anything or get involved. Like, they're not being mean. They're just, that's their place that morning. But as soon as we tend to get involved, we tend to mess it up. Good. I'm so glad you feel better. There's nothing to be upset about. Just dog language. How much MCT oil would you start giving a pound chihuahua? Yeah, we love to overcorrect, right? Did you go and ask Dr. Google? Half a teaspoon per 10 pounds. So that's how I do lots of things. I ask Dr. Google. No, I'm not supposed to tell people to go do that, but I tell people to go do that. So I'm not going to ask you how much, but I do know a little bit of Addie's history, folks. So what is that? 1/4 of a teaspoon. I might even start with 1/8 of a teaspoon. Like drops. But yeah, go to that kind of stuff. You can go to Dr. Google. And really, if you look at 3 different sites or whatever, yeah, I do a tablespoon per day for myself. And yeah, so I don't know. So what would that be? 1 teaspoon, 10. Then that's once a day. And then you can go up to twice a day. So I don't know. What is that for my Doberman? I don't know how many teaspoons are in a damn tablespoon. But it also depends on your dog's digestion. And we discussed MCT oil because that actually is not directly digested by the gallbladder and liver, if I am correct. It's more absorbed. It's hard on the digestive system for a fat. And that's because of the medium chain triglycerides in it. And so that's why we started with that. And Addie, I hope I'm not giving anything away, Ashley, but Addie has history of seizures. And that's why we were looking, Ashley figured out that she was eating pretty lean meat and that we needed to up the fat, because upping the fat and training the body to have a better metabolism, people and dogs, to use the mitochondria and using the ketones to fuel the mitochondria. There we go. That's where I wanted to go. So there has been studies since, I believe, the 1920s in people put on a ketogenic diet, which is approximately 5% carbs out of your total calories, whatever that may be. 25% protein, but you're talking 60, 70, 75% fat. And when you are ingesting that much fat, the body cannot use carbohydrates and insulin for energy. It has to, the metabolism has to switch to using ketones. And when the brain learns how to use ketones for energy, they've proven in people that the seizures stop, lessen, less meds, all of that. Like, this has been around forever and ever. And it's still not prescribed by doctors that have clients at seizure, people-wise. Okay, so if we extrapolate that over to our animals, we want our seizure dogs on a ketogenic diet. Well, we know Addie's already raw fed, but I didn't realize, and I knew she was eating venison, but venison is very lean. And so Ashley's like, you know what? I was rereading stuff. We need to up the fat. But they took the fat out because the fat was hard to digest. So we kind of have, okay, so we need to work the fat up slowly so the digestion can get used to it. And we can use digestive enzymes. We can get specifically lipase for that, and help the body do that and slowly go up. And then, honestly, I would love to get onto some fattier blends. Like Beginner's Choice is high fat with the fish in it. That would be awesome. But if we threw that down, even if she liked it, that may be just too much for her digestion, even though we want to support the brain using ketones for energy. I hope I did okay there. I hope I didn't lose anybody in the weeds. And so she had a seizure Saturday and last one in July. How awesome is that? Because when they adopted Addie, she had seizures. That's what they were told. I think this was the third or fourth one in, well, not even. This would have been the third one in a little over a year. That's awesome. That's not a seizure dog. That's a dog that has seizures. And so diet change has made a huge thing. Being careful of toxins in the environment, limiting vaccinations and other pharmaceuticals that also have to go through the liver. Like, all of that has played into this. So now you have a dog that occasionally has a seizure. That's fabulous, right? Now, how can we get even better? Is that adding CBD? Is that talking with Dana Chick, veterinary cannabis counselor, about which CBD is best for seizures? Is that, okay, we're on a raw diet, but is it high enough fat? How is our digestion? What all do we need to work with here? So, and it's a journey. It's a journey. And, and you just keep going forward. I think you're doing a fabulous job. Raw goat's milk and raw goat's milk kefir does have MCT in it. Really? Oh, just medium chain triglycerides. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's probably why that's so easily digested. I can't say that I knew that, but that makes complete sense that that's what's in. That's the fat that's in there. And that's why it's so easy to digest, and so many dogs just do so well on it. Plus the pre and probiotics and because it's fermented, preferably the one I get is fermented. It would probably, if you have a dog that does some seizures, get fermented, because that'll drop the carbs even more. Yeah, fourth one, farther and farther apart. You're on the right road. And sometimes those roads get bumpy. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's awesome news about Mr. B. That's fabulous. And she gets her CBD. And I don't know, is that nightly massage for Addie or for Ashley? Is it, here's up here. Is it C8 or C10? I don't know. What did you buy, Ashley? She was at the store, and I'm like, yeah, give me a bottle too. So I don't know what she decided on. I don't know what I'm getting. Oh, I had a question for you. Yes. So when I defrost our Chubb's raw dog food and company food, there's always blood in the bowl. So you pour it back in the meat. Do you add it to the food bowls, or do you just go throw it down the drain? All right, I'm just being curious as what you do with it. I'm being nosy. Back in the meat. Okay. Good to hear. I would pour it back, yeah. I would hope most people would pour it back. I had to stop my husband. He was going to pour it down the drain. I'm like, hello. Tons of nutrients in there. Especially if we need blood building factors for whatever reason. It's in the blood, right? Like feeds like, right? Back in the meat. Yep. Okay. We'll let you. We'll let Ashley off with a pass on that. Honestly, I couldn't. What is? See, I'm gonna go to Dr. Google again. I bet Kyle could tell me anyway. Let's see. MCT. Okay. C8 and C10 MCT oil differs simply based on which fatty acids they contain. The C8 MCT oil contains caprylic acid, which has 8 carbon atoms on its chain, and C10, I'm going to go with it has 10 carbon atoms, and that's capric acid. So which is best? We've got 2 carbon difference here. Okay. Yeah, low bar keto. So without getting too in depth, most fats are long chain fatty acids. And so medium chain fats are shorter in length. This is important because it means they're quicker and easier to digest, which is the underlying mechanisms for most of their health benefits. So the C8 would be shorter than the C10. Yes, low carb keto, efficient energy source, enhances ketosis, promotes weight loss. This is a People article, obviously. So there's actually 4 types: C6, 8, 10, and 12, classified by the number of carbon atoms, right? The higher the number, the longer. So C6 is bitter, and C12 is lauric acid, technically an MCT, but it's not easy to absorb. So yeah, so the C8 is easier for the body to break down. So it's arguably a more efficient source of energy compared to C10. Okay. So C10 has been shown to have some potent antifungal properties. Antimicrobial and antifungal properties. Cool. So I can't say that I've looked that up before. So thank you, Kyle. So technically, Addie would probably do better with a C8 MCT oil. I don't know if it's going to be that big of a difference, but organic MCT oil, natural grocers. No, I don't really have a point of view at this moment, C8 or C10. I don't have, quote unquote, any issues that I just thought I'd have some in the house. I generally, honestly, for my animals and even into my coffee, I just use regular coconut oil. I generally don't even have MCT oil around. No particular reason, just kind of how I roll at the moment. I don't know where it would say either. So Nature's Way organic MCT. Let's see. And it probably would be like a blend, right? I wonder if most of them are. Oh, this is not going where I want to go. Okay, I'm not going to do that with you guys online here. I don't have a right kind for me currently. Now I say that, and then I might end up C8 is easier on the gut. Yep. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome. I'm glad I looked that up. See, we good? Anything else burning? Like I said, I gotta go get some packing done. I don't know if I'm gonna sleep tonight. There's still so much to do. So much to do. Always. I don't know if it's ever worth going out of town. Yeah, it's probably just a blend. I think you might have to like get specific, like bulletproof C8 MCT oil. I drink bulletproof coffee. It's the bomb. I actually just had it tested by my chiropractor that does muscle testing, and she's like, because this is coffee, right? This is caffeine. I really should give it up, and I have on occasion. I really, really love my coffee. And she tested it. I brewed it. I brought in a little bit. She's like, "Is this that bulletproof coffee?" She's like, "Well, your body really doesn't want it, but it's not repulsed by it." So I'm like, "Yes, I drink my coffee." Not really a huge endorsement, but I'm a big fan of Bulletproof, and I have their inulin powder, and I haven't, like I said, I don't generally have MCT oil around, but I'm gonna get some from Ashley, so we'll go from there. All right, my friends, I'm gonna go pack. I'm gonna get out of here at the crack of dawn tomorrow. I'm gonna go to Chicago. Maybe learn a few things, maybe not. I don't know. Try and stay warm. But I will be back here next Tuesday, which is March something. March 6th, March 7th, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on this channel, Dr. Andy's World, and on YouTube. Dee Dee's favorite screw tube, you know. And bring your questions, bring your friends. I will attempt to talk about anything. And if I don't know, I will look it up. I was looking up stuff today. I don't know. Do I have any homework, Kyle? It's your last chance. Email. I do my damnedest to get a weekly email out with some content. Sometimes it's just what's going on with my pack, my musings. Sometimes it's something in the news, and stuff like that, right? So you can get on my email list at animalmagiccare.com. We'd love to have you. They're not too intense. We try to keep it to just a couple a week, and you can always unsubscribe. I generally don't try to sell you anything. Every once in a while, you know, or I'll point you in the right direction. See, anything else? We have a new website. Well, we have a new website today, tomorrow, the next day. It's coming. Keisha's working hard getting it on the new platform. So everyone give her a round of applause, or at least I will, because I can't even imagine the detail work on that. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Kyle. Thank you. And my homework is to have a great trip and enjoy myself and have fun. Okay, I do have a sphincter story. It's a true sphincter story. I can do it hopefully I can do it quick. So my mom lives with me, and she has a little old dog. He's 14 and a half, and he has, I'm going to condense it, an anal gland tumor. And just the last couple days, it's gotten very big that it's affecting his anal tone, and so his sphincter tone. And so there's been anal leakage around the house, little drips of poop everywhere. Poor guy. We're not sure how much longer he's going to want to stay in that body. It's not a lot of fun. But I actually have maybe a legitimate reason to say sphincter. And well, you don't get to say anal leakage very often at all. So that was, we try to bring a little brevity to, a sad situation. He's been a good dog for all these years, and he's super sweet, and it's always hard, right? Always hard, and he will be missed. So we'll see. We'll see how much longer he wants to hang out with us. And yes, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Keisha, Ashley, and all of our critters that support us. And until next time, my friends, how much fun can you have with your animals? Bye-bye.